Hi guys, I know you're probably wondering where have you been, and I have very good reasons. I had to take a well-needed break. So I will explain, and I hope that this video can help another woman out there or man, because men are not prone to having issues as well. I think we forget about them when we discuss, because so many times as women, we have so many things that are happening within our body. So I really wanted to do this video. Like, I literally have no lights on. I have natural light coming through my office, and I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys because I really hope this video can help someone out there. Now, yes, I took a well-needed break. I just got back from Cancun, and I just really needed to refresh because there has been so much happening on the back end that you guys don't necessarily see, because I show up and do the videos and I don't really talk about what goes on with me, because I try to keep this channel pretty much about crime stories or missing person cases, and that will be coming back, so don't be afraid. I just really needed to decompress because of what has been happening with me. Now, if you have watched my video on where I talked about IBS and how that has affected my life in a tremendous way, like, living with chronic pain is truly hard. So I have been suffering with that for a long time, like as long as my son has been alive, and I really didn't know that I had IBS until 2 years later. That's why I will stress in this video, it is very important to get proper medical assistance, because a lot of doctors, sad to say, do not care. They will brush you off and they will tell you, oh, you're just getting older. No. If you are having problems like right now, this is your sign to find a new doctor if your doctor is not helping you get on a treatment plan. So yes, we talk about IBS, we talk about what it is, irritable bowel syndrome, and how it can affect your life. For me, it makes me flare up so bad and I bloat very bad, even after a tummy tuck, which is crazy. So this year, I kind of been dealing with some issues, and it's very personal. So I hope that this video can help someone, because I don't like to share a whole lot about me anymore because I'm just so overprotective. But this, by me like talking about this on like Facebook and other social medias, it has opened the window for more women to talk about their issues. And I think as women, we often forget about talking to other women so that we can heal. In that way, we can figure out what's really going on with our bodies. Our bodies are very complex. The things that they are doing to our foods can affect us. The things that stress can affect us. Just so many key factors. Even sleep can affect your body. So as I turned 30, this new issue started to begin for me. Now, I am 31, so it's been about a good year, and I've been dealing with this silently. Like, I have been battling some hormonal issues, and to me, I just thought I felt so embarrassed. As a woman, as a grown woman who takes very good care of herself, I felt embarrassed. And it's nothing to be embarrassed about, because hormonal changes doesn't mean that you're dirty. It doesn't mean that you don't take proper care of yourself. It just truly means that your hormones are out of sync, and we need to get to the bottom of it. So for a whole year, I've been sweating more. My odor changed, meaning like after I work out, my insomnia started to really kick in full gear, and I think COVID had a lot to do with my insomnia, and then it just progressed into this new issue that has came about in my life once I turned 30. So I really just felt like things were just truly out of whack for me. So I would downplay it. I would talk to my sisters and my friends, and I'm like, something just feels so odd. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure I'm doing more, you know what I mean? Like, after I work out, completely take off my workout clothes, because, you know, sweat can create odor. Sweat can, you know, it's just a hassle, you know. And it doesn't mean you stink. It's just, you know your body, you know your scent, you know how you feel. So that threw me for a loop, and I was like, what the hell is going on? So I tried to make things better. So January 22 of this year, meaning the year 22, not the day, my menstrual started acting very crazy. I would still get my menstrual every day of the month, spot on, but a week later I would begin to spot, and it would go away and it would turn into brown, something of like a brown color. And I call it, like, if you are a woman, you know, barbecue days at the end of your cycle. That's kind of what I referred it to, as I would explain to my doctor. So I let January go. I said, okay, let's see what February is doing, because I'm very in tune with my body. I know when something is off. I know when something irritates my vagina, or my booty hole. I know, like, a product, like a scented product, can just throw me out of sync. Like, I know when my body is doing something that it's not supposed to be doing. So I met with my doctor back in December, got my pap smear, because if you guys watched me a long time ago, I shared that I had the LEEP procedure. They took some abnormal cells off my cervix, but everything came back really great. And I was able to have my baby boy, because I had struggled to get pregnant for about 2 years before him. I always wanted children young. So if you're wondering that why, I always wanted my children in my 20s. So yeah. So I had my pap smear in December, and this new issue didn't start until literally a month after. But I did tell my doctor about my hormonal changes that I felt were starting on. And so she told me to keep an eye out on it, and all my other blood work, like, I literally got blood work done and everything came back really great. So in January, that happened. February, that happened again, meaning my period came on the exact day it was supposed to. A week later, I was spotting and it would turn into brown, like brown blood. So I remember this day like it was yesterday, March 5th. I was coming home from the gym and I could just feel something very different with my discharge. As women, you should know the type of discharge that you're having, especially like if you're trying to have a baby, like ovulation. You know, you just know. I just pay close attention to that because, one, I don't want no more kids. And two, it's just, I'm very in tune with my body. So I begin to take off my gym clothes because now I'm in a process of, immediately after I work out, I do not keep on my gym clothes, because keeping your gym clothes on builds up a lot of sweat and bacteria, and it's kind of nasty, so you don't want to, you know, do that. And granted, life happens. Sometimes you're busy, you're going to the supermarket after you work out. It happens, you know what I'm saying? Just long as you, like, now what I do is I bring like a baggie with me with like wipes and stuff like that, just to cleanse that bacteria off, because you are producing a lot of bacteria when you're working out, and your legs, your arms are chafing to the material that you wear. And a lot of people really don't know that. I didn't know it. So yeah, and I take good care of myself. But anywho, I was talking to my husband, and next thing you know, I really felt like I was coming on my period. And I'm like, what the hell? My period isn't due until like the 15th. It's March 5th. So I literally stick my hand down there, and it was bright ass blood. It scared me to the maximum because, again, previously in January and February, I was only spotting. Like, I would put a pad on and it would be barely anything on the pad. This was different. So this made me say it's finally time to call my doctor again. So I call my doctor. She gets me in, and I had to go get an ultrasound done. Got the ultrasound done, and it came back that my endometrial lining was really thick for a woman of my age. So the endometrium is the lining of the uterus. It is one of the few organs in the human body that changes in size every month throughout a person's fertile years. Each month, as a part of the menstrual cycle, the body prepares the endometrium to host an embryo. Now, there's a thing called endometrial hyperplasia, which is kind of what I thought was going on with my body once I got my ultrasound results back. And that is, I'm going to read, is a condition of female reproductive system. The lining of the uterus, the endometrium, becomes usually thick because of having too many cells, hyperplasia. It's not cancer, but in certain women, it raises the risk of developing endometrial cancer, a very type of urinary cancer. So that's kind of what popped up on my results. So my doctor, which is a primary care, she can give me pap smears and everything, but she's not necessarily my gynecologist. So she recommended me to go to a gynecologist and it was the best person that she could recommend me to, because once I got to this part of the journey, you know, they asked me a lot about hormones. They asked me a lot about how I was feeling as far as like my digestive, my gut health, everything. And with IBS, it is definitely a gut health problem, digestive problem that affects your body, and it's freaking annoying as hell. So I meet with this new gynecologist, and she checks my cervix, my ovaries, and everything. And in her mind, she thinks I maybe have endometriosis. And I kind of thought I was having that because I also would get pelvic pain, and just I would develop insomnia. Like I was very fatigued, and I would always say, what is going on with me? And I did previously have low vitamin D, but I have gotten that up since like my last appointment from my primary care. So that's a whole nother thing in itself, baby. But so at this point, it was now time for me to get a biopsy. And a biopsy is pretty much when they take a sample of whatever part of your body. And this time it was going to be my uterus. Before, I had a biopsy on my cervix. And when I say this biopsy hurt so bad, I was in full-blown tears. I wanted to cry. That is how bad it hurt. So my gynecologist said she doesn't believe that it will be cancer, but they have to rule out if it is cancer because it can potentially develop into that. So they want to make sure your cells in your uterus and all of that is good. We as women, we go through so much when it comes to our vaginas. Oh my gosh. And I joke like, I wish my parents prayed for a boy because damn. But so around this time, it was almost time for my best friend's birthday, and I feel like my trip came at the most perfect time because even while going through this, I have been in pain. My stomach has been in pain. I have been so fatigued, and it's not a fatigue where you're just like, oh, I'm tired, I can push through. No, it's like a chronic fatigue. So it affected my YouTube work because again, I do work full time, and I had to dedicate more of that energy to that and still be a mom. And it sucked because I truly love doing YouTube. I truly love sharing stories because again, it can inspire someone, it can get the word out there, and it can, you know, just be some type of an example that we can learn from. So it has affected my work ethic far as my YouTube because again, I work full time and I have to make sure I'm doing a great job at my full time because I'm still working from home. And now that we're about to go back in the building on 1 day a week, you know, I'm trying to get back in that rhythm. I'm trying to keep my stress down because stress can really affect you. So I also got my blood work done again with my new gynecologist because she really wanted to check my hormone levels. And this is the first that I kind of had my hormones levels checked because I really did feel like my hormones were off. And mind you, I said previously I would tell my PCP about it, but she told me to monitor it a little bit more. And then when the new issue came up, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is crazy. So I ended up had like a virtual meeting with my doctor, and I was able to find out that from a subclinical point, and I say from a subclinical point because a lot of doctors will miss having an underactive thyroid problem. So every time I got my blood work back, my thyroid has always fell in the metrics, but my thyroid is at the lower end. So my doctor was like, from a subclinical point, you technically have hypothyroidism, and hypothyroidism can affect you far as weight gain, which I have been struggling. That has been a whole stress in itself. I have been struggling to lose these last 15 to 20 pounds. I feel like I gain so easily now. Like, it affects your sleep schedule, it affects your sex life, it affects just how you operate on a daily basis because it is a hormone that goes through your thyroid, which is, oh, my ear, sorry. You might have to wait. So it is a hormone issue that affects, you know, your daily routine. And I didn't realize this, right? So I'm like, okay, we're finally getting answers. So it all starts to make sense because even if you have hypothyroidism, it can affect your gut. Hence is why I have been having a lot of abdominal pain and my IBS pills are not freaking working. You know what I mean? So finding that out was like, oh, because now I know what's going on. So what do I need to do, right? So now I am having to go back on a lower carb diet plan, which I was doing, and I was losing weight. And I think that's because I was not eating a lot of gluten. I had some dairy, because some dairy does not affect me. I just watch what I consume and how much I consume, because I'm a firm believer that moderation is key in certain things that you have. But like I said, I have been getting so many flare-ups. I'm like, what is going on? Not realizing that gluten can affect your system with underactive thyroid problems. So I'm like, okay, it's all coming full circle. It's all starting to make sense. And so I have now been on a journey of making sure I really read my products and really cook my food at home, because it's hard to trust what people are doing, you know what I'm saying, outside of how they cook their meals. And so I've been watching like a lot of videos just to like get a better idea. So this weekend I'm gonna go to like Sprouts and stuff to really get better food products. I have bought some of the Fody, it's called FODY products, which is really good for sensitivity to the stomach. I have had like their their protein bars. So I'm gonna try some more of their products, and I'm also gonna try, it starts with a P, Primal, because they have like ranch that is like not really dairy, it's vegan, it's gluten-free, very much easier on the stomach, just so I can cure the gut problems. And once I tackle the gut problems, I will be able to later on reincorporate foods that I potentially love. And so it's all starting to make sense, and I'm like, wow, maybe I never really had IBS. I just always had an underactive thyroid that was never caught. And because I never really had symptoms pop up, that is why it was also overlooked. And my doctor even told me that a lot of times it's overlooked because your numbers still fall in the metrics, but where I should be, I think she said I should be around 150, I'm at an 18. But the metric was like from 10 to like 300 or something like that, because my body is producing way too much estrogen and it's not producing the other one. I forgot the name of it that she said, but it's not producing that. So now I have to just incorporate more natural foods. I barely eat processed, but I would be lying if I say I don't eat processed foods. But really looking at my labels, really figuring out what works and what does not work for me, because what I thought was working is not working anymore. And now it's time to really make sure I'm not including a lot of gluten. And a lot of gluten is a key factor in like celiac people and just people with thyroid problems, and a lot of people with underactive thyroid problems, because it's not technically like a big thyroid. Like a lot of people get it here, like their thyroid starts to get really big here. I had a friend who just recently had surgery on her thyroid because it was like a size of a golf ball. So a lot of people get affected in different ways, and a lot of times, like I said, it is often overlooked. So it is very important that you find proper care, because if you feel like something is off, 9 times out of 10, it is off. It is off, because I knew I was not tripping. And with my uterus thing, it was benign, so I don't have cancer. I can't remember if I said it, but I can get what they call an abrasion on my uterus lining to cut down the thickness of it, so that way my periods won't be as heavy and I won't spot anymore. And I was watching Dr. Berg, my sister sent him to me, and he pretty much said once you eliminate gluten and dairy, and lower your stress, you'll be able to cure the gut problems that come from an underactive thyroid. So I'm really excited for this journey. I think I will document on my fitness channel, because I know there's a lot of women out there struggling, and hell, I'm struggling. I'm like, damn, I really got to change up everything. Like there's no, what's the word? I have to do it. There's no, oh, maybe. No, I have to do it, because I'm literally in pain almost every day. Like I have to boil hot water and put it in my heating pad to release the pain in my stomach. So that just goes to show you, like, I have really been suffering in silence. Like a lot of people did not know, because I just would mask it so well. Wouldn't tell anyone what was going on. Of course, I would talk about IBS problems, but I just would really mask what I was really battling on the other side, like chronic fatigue and just insomnia, can't really sleep, you know, certain foods triggering me, trying to figure the foods out, and then having flare-ups that are just hit you at random. So I'm really excited to be on this new journey. And they say like once you do, you can go, they say like a healthy keto can really help with your digestive. So I am excited to enter this journey again. I have done low carb before and it does work. I have lost, that's how I was looking at my videos, right, from like 2019. And I'm like, who is that skinny girl? Because baby, my face was so much smaller. And I'm like, that's because, Steph, you weren't eating a lot of gluten. You weren't eating a lot of dairy. You were like really minimizing what you were consuming. And I got lazy. COVID made me lazy. And I think that's why the flare-ups have been hitting. And now that I really know what's going on, that's why I say I don't technically say I have IBS anymore, but with the underactive thyroid, it creates health issues. And I have started to include, it starts with an L-glutamine, and that helps you to flush your digestive system. But that is pretty much it. I look crazy because I'm sunburned, but we're gonna get this tackled. We're gonna do what we need to do. We have no choice but to do it. And I think that's the beauty in the story, is just continuing to try, just continuing to do better with what we consume, because again, we really don't know what's being done to our foods, but we can also do a better job and do our part and make sure that we are incorporating fresh foods, no processed foods, eliminating a little bit of dairy if you need to, gluten, and it's all going to come together. I'm just grateful that I was finally able to find answers, and I'm grateful that I'm optimistic that things will get better and we will be better. You know, I'm a firm believer in manifesting things, and I hope that this video can help someone out there struggling, and to know that you are not alone. And we go through things, but long as you continue to move forward in your journey, that's all that matters to me. I am not a person that thinks about how we can stay stuck in the moment, but how and what can we do to be better? Are you going to complain about it, or are you going to do something about it? You know what I mean? Because I see a lot of people, they talk about their weight or they talk about their health problems, but what are you doing to be a better person, to get to where you're trying to go, or to solve the issue at hand? It's one thing to keep doing all this, but it's another thing to put in some action and really do it. So I hope this video helps. New videos will be coming. Bear with me. Just getting back into the swing of things, and I'm excited, y'all. I'm praying that all of it brings new light. I mean, it will bring new light. Let's say that. It will bring new light, and we will be back full throttle. Bye, guys. Until the next episode.